Hi, hello, it's Grace. Last time we spoke, it was January 4th, and right now it is January 19th. And from then to now, I haven't done anything with my life. So let's talk about it. If I had vlogged the 15 days in between them, I would have gotten better at not being so shy in front of the camera. But I did not do that. Also, I wanted this year to start and begin and be the year where I tracked every single thing I did so that I'll be able to tell the kind of life I've lived. And I showed you guys my habit tracker that I made. I only tracked 3 days, and right now we're here, day 18. And on my money tracker, I only tracked 3 days, right? And we are on day 18. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. There were a lot of things I said I wanted to do. I wanted to spend less than 500 naira on food, which in hindsight, that was such a impossible task to do the way I was doing it. And so when I was thinking about it, Pastor B was saying, why don't you just buy food in bulk with the amount of money you have and just like try to spend like 500 naira worth of food eating that day? But I didn't do that. And so I would start with the intention of actually eating 500 naira food, and I would maybe buy something really tiny, still be hungry or still want to eat more, and spend more money. And there was days I was spending like 3,000, 4,000 naira. And so one of my main goals for this month was to not run out of money and to not go into debt. I did both. Like, my brother had borrowed me 3k, my sister has sent me 20k, my mommy has sent me 5k. Not borrow, like this one's like help. What else? My mommy has sent me like to this week already. Today's Monday, she sent me 2k. My brother, yeah, he borrowed me 2k. My friend borrowed me, I think, 9k. I did not do that. Okay, I am in debt even more, and I still don't have any money. I've run out of money by the 18th of the month, and I started to buy food in bulk and cook at home and realized, oh, I would have been able to do it if I just did not set the goal to eat 500 naira that I knew I was going to fail. If I just cooked at home, like bought food in bulk and cooked at home. Anyway, 2 hours of work, I haven't done that. The only thing I have work-wise is a faint idea of what I'm going to be offering in this year. 2 hours of studying, I haven't done that at all for the last 15 days. I haven't even gone to school. So sometime this week, I'm going to have to figure out how to get to school and see if I can redeem the semester or if I have to suspend the semester so I don't fail. That's where we are at. I haven't read for fun or for knowledge for 10 minutes. I haven't done that. I haven't gone on walks. No, I have not been praying. I haven't brushing twice. I haven't showering twice, and I haven't been doing laundry every single day. But I think I'm like, if I stick to doing laundry every single day or at least 5 days a week, I will be able to finish up the laundry pile that I have, because it has reduced tremendously since then. And I haven't been uploading on YouTube. Isn't that crazy? I hate it. I hate how things have gone. When I think of the goals I set for myself this month, it said to clean my bathroom 4 times a week. I didn't do that. I haven't cleaned my bathroom since last year, and it was already dirty last year. To publish 2 blog posts and to not accumulate any new debt this month. I failed, but the month is not yet over, and that's why I'm filming this right now, because I want to get back into it. I don't want to be someone who just gives up because I'm too embarrassed by the big goals I set for people to see that I failed. So here's the plan. For the next 7 days, I think, or 14 days, I don't know how long I'm going to want to stretch it out, there are 3 things I want to do. I want to wake up in the morning. No, not 3. Okay, 4 things. I want to wake up in the morning. I want to pray. All right, get ready for the day. Then do 2 hours of work. And over the next couple of days, I'll probably share with you my offer, the plan, whatever. And then after 2 hours of work or whatever, however I want to cut it, after doing the work I need to do that day, I want to read. Now, this is it. I said that one of my goals for this year is to pursue knowledge, like it's to be someone that is knowledgeable. And I'm Nigerian. I think like almost every other Nigerian, I'm very apathetic about this country because the country is not kind to us. I like, how if you have parents that treat you like shit, you don't really care about them. You're just like, I know they're there, I know they exist, but I don't care. That's how it is, I think, with a lot of youths in Nigeria. And even when they do something, like if you had a father that would always treat you like shit and he bought something for you, one day you would be like, why? Like, what do you want? And that's how I was explaining to my friend one day. That's how it feels when like Nigeria brings up something you know it's not for your benefit. So you're like, what is this scam you're trying to run with, this thing you're doing right now? But I think Nigeria has a rich history, and I think to love something is to know it. Do I want to love the country? I don't think it's possible, but I want to know how we got to where we are now, and what people like, how life has been for other people years past. And I want to feel what the freedom fighters that we had in this country felt. And this came from reading the Singapore story, the book, and seeing how Singapore came to be and the love people and the president had for that country. And I know that we have something like that in Nigeria. Fela Kuti came from Nigeria. Nnamdi Azikiwe came from Nigeria. Like there were so many people that came from Nigeria. There has to be a way. Like it has to be something that I've not seen yet. So I have about 13 books that I found that I know would take me to like where I want to be. This is going to be boring, okay, but let me tell you all the books. The first book is A History of Nigeria by Toyin Falola and Matthew Heaton. The next book is, I'm still debating if I'm going to read this because it doesn't really have anything to do with Nigeria. It's called The African Origin of Civilization. And then the next book is How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. Then we have The Making of Nigeria. We have Nigeria, Background to Nationalism, and it was written by Obafemi Awolowo. And Obafemi Awolowo was a leader in Nigeria. Then The Trouble with Nigeria, Chinua Achebe. I love Chinua Achebe's work. I might have read this book. I can't recall because I had the memory of a goldfish. But I think I have read it, but I want to read it again, obviously. Then There Was a Country by Chinua Achebe. I'm sure that I've read this book, but I will read it again. And The Biafran War by John de St. John, or The Nigerian Civil War by Max Seolon. I don't know. I haven't read this, but I know I have read something, watched something about the Biafran War, and I want like a more like adult look into it. Yeah, we have Oil, Politics and Violence by Max Seolon. I guess it has to do with like the military rule and the decay that it costs in Nigeria. We have Soldiers of Fortune. We have Fela, This Beach of a Life. I want to know about Fela. Okay, I want to know about Fela. I want to know about him as more than his music and his shrine and girls shaking their ass, because I know there's more to him than that. And then we have Wole Soyinka, The Man Died and You Must Set Forth at Dawn. That's a long list of books. And I'm not a reader. I used to be so much of a reader. I used to love reading. I used to be a voracious reader, and I want to be that again. So I think in all my life I haven't read boring books. I haven't read books to build this up, and that's what I want to do. And then in conjunction with that, I want to write at least for the next 7 days 1 blog post a day. So before you get further into this video, it's going to be boring, and every other video coming from this is going to be boring. As long as I'm reading these books and writing and just trying to find money, it's probably going to be boring. It's going to be a lot of time lapse of me reading on my phone like this, you know, and it's more for me than it is for you. If you're interested in the history of Nigeria, I think I'll share what I read as I find something important to say. But for the most part, maybe this video would only serve you if you also just want to get up and do something that is not scrolling on your phone, watching at least 10 Chinese short dramas every day. Girl, I've been watching so much short dramas that at least for 10 hours in a day, okay, not 10 hours, maybe like for at least 2 hours in a day combined, I'm thinking of sex. Ew. Because it's generally soft porn. Like, if you've watched the Chinese short dramas I'm talking about, you know that if it was on a different site, they'll be having sex. You know, and I know, and that's disgusting, girl. Maybe not disgusting, but that was kind of awkward. That's what I do in my life. And so I was like, this is not me. I'm not 15 years old or a boy. I'm not horny. I don't know what's wrong with me. I know it's watching too much Chinese dramas. So I told myself I'm going to stop that. Today I have very little data, so I cannot start working. I'm going to use this time to start reading, because why not? What's the first book I'm going to read, you might ask? Even I don't know that, but let me look for it for you. I think it's cool that I could find all these books as PDFs. No? Yes. It is, the first book is A History of Nigeria. That's the book I'm going to read first. If I can find it. I think I downloaded it. So, hold on. Yeah, found it. And it is, how many pages, girl? $370 pages. I don't know what that means in book terms, but I'm going to see, and I'm going to start reading, and you're going to come along with me. I'm trying to read for 3 hours, not at a stretch. So I think I'll set a 30-minute timer at first and just read through that, and then I'll see how I feel. But hopefully by the end of this whole challenge, I'm going to be someone that knows a lot about Nigeria. 30 minutes on the clock. You can see that. I just read something and it said, like, so many things juxtapose themselves when it comes to people in Nigeria. And I think one thing that has been constant in Nigeria, I don't know if it's before colonialism, but after, definitely after the colonial rule, is people's audacity. It's not even audacity is not the right word. I think it's their, like, now our president will say Emi Lokon, like, it's my turn. Like, it's almost like they genuinely believe that they deserve something just because they want it. I'm just reading like the key figures. I hate the way I do this. So the key the key figures when we talk about the history of Nigeria. One of the first things, all of them are rich. At least for now, the ones I've seen. They all did not study in Nigeria, studied abroad, had close ties with the rulers during colonial rule. Something that stuck out to me though is this man. His name is Chief S.L. Akintola, and he was a journalist, and then he started being very nationalistic, joining the national. He was in the national youth movement, Nigerian youth movement, and he was very nationally. No, that's not a word. He was a nationalist. Is what they say. And I don't know if I'm dumb, but I think nationalist is someone that has like the rights, or no, not the rights. The what's the word now? You know what? Let me use dictionary. Nationalist. You have a devotion, right, to a particular nation. And I think it's a very selfless thing to do if you're a nationalist. You really care. You love and you defend your country. A patriot. And then it says here in the same sentence, he had a falling out with Chief Obafemi Awolowo. He abandoned the AG and founded the United People's Party, and then also later the Nigerian National Democratic Party, that formed an alliance with the Northern-dominated MPC and used the power of incumbency to rig elections. Does not make any sense. How are you a nationalist and you're rigging elections? Doesn't that just mean you're very selfish and you just want to be in power because of what you can get? So I don't think saying rig election and nationalism can coexist in a sentence with anybody that has a brain. It's embarrassing to see. And that's what led to the military coup of January. And he was killed in the coup. Like, so what did you gain? Let's calm down. But you know what? Fair. You play stupid games, it needs to be prizes. Like, so many things, it's just cause and effects. Like, you did this, and so this happened. Agui Ironsi came into power from this first coup, became the first military head of state, and started to okay, I don't know if he did this or if because of our tribalism. It's two things: either he was a tribalist or the people that killed him was a tribalist. Because this is what it says. It says that he only stayed as the military head of state for a few months because he angered a lot of people, particularly the Northerners. He was Igbo from the south, over his perceived favoritism of Igbos and the abolition of the federal structure. And then he was killed in the second military coup. So was he a tribalist that favors Igbo people? Or were the Northerners not happy with an Igbo person in power and decided to use the excuse of him favoring Igbo people? I wouldn't know. But so knowing Nigeria, being Nigerian, living in Nigeria, those two things could be right. Like, two of those options could be the right option. I wouldn't know. Because from the time I was born to now, an Igbo person hasn't run the country, even though we know that Igbo people are the most hardworking. And the last election, which was the only election I've ever been an adult in to vote, I could say like the majority of Nigerians voted for Peter Obi, who is an Igbo person. And we wanted him to win because for the first time in my life, watching like election debates and People's Manifesto, he said things like he was going to do for the country, like actual things that was going to benefit the country, benefit the people. Like for the first time ever, because people just like these governments, people just speaking bans, like saying things like we're going to develop the road and random things like that. Like they never give actual things they're going to do for the country. But it was so into the whole process. I felt proud of being Nigerian for the first time during the election period because he was in it. Like he was on this Twitter spaces, making sure that everything was going well. If somebody was to say, oh, they're not letting us vote in this place on the Twitter space, you'll say where he will send people there. Like he was in it. I voted for him. 90% of people that voted in my voting unit and even in my state voted for him. Most people knew that he was going to win, and we went to sleep. And in the middle of the night, they released the election results, and he didn't win. In the middle of the night, everybody was sleeping. So it is very possible that it was the Northerners not wanting him to be the first military head of state, or he was he was what do you call somebody that's practicing favoritism? He was playing favorites with the Igbos, and something that is still very done till today. If you're in power, you put your people in power. It's nasty. Anyway, let's keep reading. Here's another way that Nigerians in power have been selfish. Like it's crazy how I believe in Nigeria as a whole. We went through colonization and nobody liked it, but call me biased. I'm not biased towards any like ethnic group in Nigeria. I was not raised that way. My parents were not biased, at least to my knowledge, against any ethnic group in Nigeria. But there is so much bias against ethnic groups in Nigeria. I don't even have to write bias against any ethnic group because I fall under like what's it called now? The minority. And we don't blame that game. But even the minority are biased. Like if Biafra happened, if the Civil War was successful, you would have to leave the country with Igbo people because you don't have like your own Anyway, I keep saying like at least 3 people out of these important people in Nigeria were killed because of their northernization agenda, and they are taking the northernization agenda. And I was like, what is the northernization agenda? That doesn't sound like a good thing. It is, according to Google, it was a deliberate policy initiated in the 1950s and 1960s by the Northern Region government of Nigeria, which was led by Sir Ahmad Bello, the Sardauna of Sokoto. And its primary goal was to ensure that Northerners held the key positions in the regional public service, education, and commerce, effectively replacing expatriates and Southerners with people of Northern Nigerian descent. Why? Like, why? Why do you need to do all that? Like, who sent you? While proponents saw it as a necessary step to protect the North from being marginalized by more educationally advanced regions, opponents criticized the policy as ethnic favoritism, which is what it is. It was seen by some as a hurdle to national unity, fostering regionalism over national cohesion. The policy was a significant factor in the political rivalry of the First Republic and was viewed as a move to secure the North's dominance within the Nigerian Federation. Why do you guys have to rule? Like, why can't it just be whoever it is that is, what's it called? Deserving of it. Whoever it is that could take on the responsibility role. Do you know how many Northern presidents we've had since then? A lot. Muhammadu Buhari, what's this man's name? My brain is not working. The one that died enough. Forgotten his name. We've had a couple of them, you know, and yeah, just weird. And then the people that started to be killed because of it. See, it says Tafawa Balewa was his power and promotion of the his power and promotion of the Northernization agenda made him a prime target for the organizers of the coup, January 15, 1966, in which he was abducted and killed. Also, Ahmadu Bello, the Sardauna of Sokoto, he was instrumental in promoting the Northernization agenda of the MPC, and he was killed in the coup of January 1966. Like, you know, let me not say anything because this is going on the internet, but you know, it's weird and it's unfair that even going into the history, people have been rotten to the core. I mean, maybe that's what it takes. Maybe that's what it takes for things to move forward. But I don't believe it because I read the Singapore story. And maybe if Ahmadu Bello or all the people were not killed and they wrote their own books, they would be the hero. But I read the Singapore story by Lee Kuan Yew. Maybe he's biased because he is, but every single thing I could see that he did was for the good of the country. And it shows because the country became amazing from where he started. The country was, I would even say, up to par, if not worse than Nigeria, when they lost the British rule and they were divided from their own motherland, Malaysia, hinterland. But still, like he did his big one with that, and it was not a selfish thing because it takes a lot of selflessness to grow a small country to what he did. It takes a lot of love for that country. All I can see here is favoritism and greed to be in power. Maybe that's the difference between an Asian giant and, even though they call Nigeria an African giant, it really isn't. I would say Nigerians know that it's all cap and it's all cap and forming. It's not real. Things are hard. And things are harder than it should be because the country doesn't care. You know, things are hard generally, I think everywhere. But when things are hard and then the country's making it harder, it's kind of sad to see. You know, they don't have your back at all. So hopefully, as I keep reading, something will touch me that is not it. I'm going to do another 30 minutes time out because I'm actually enjoying what I'm reading. And then, oh, by the way, I think last time I spoke, I had the what's it called now? I was fasting for 20 hours. Yesterday, for the first time, I tried to change it to 16 hours so that I have more time to eat. And so after I read for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to eat. Yesterday I made jollof rice. It's actually really delicious. I'm going to buy 1 egg. I'm going to fry that and eat that. That will be my meal for the day. And if you think about it, it's going to be like 200 because the egg is 200. So for now I'm going to keep reading because I'm enjoying it. One downside to cooking in my house is that the kitchen, the house, the whole room smells like what you cooked, and it's so stuffy that you have to open up the windows and you're going to sweat like a goat. But I'm excited to eat. Doesn't this look good? It's so much better than the last meal that you guys saw me eat, or the first meal that you guys saw me eat, which was 2 packs of noodles with nothing. I'm actually quite excited. I love plantain. Anyway, yesterday I started this new drama. I've read for 1 hour, by the way. Yesterday I started this new drama. It's called, it's not new, but I started it at new. It's called Chicago Typewriter. Hold on. I don't know what it's about for real, but I'm excited to watch it. I'm only going to watch it while I'm eating, and I think it's so much better than watching Chinese short dramas. I'm going to watch it while I'm eating, and then once I'm done eating, I'm going to go back to reading. And by like 4 p.m., I'm going to write my blog post and make it and post it immediately and continue my reading till I've done 3 hours of reading. And then if I'm able to get data, I'll also do some work. I'm sweating profusely, but this is the drama I'm watching, Chicago Typewriter.
당장 갖다 버려. 아니 사슴을 아무데나 유기하면 시간이 올 텐데요. 그럼 사슴 풀어주든가 뭐 갖다 팔치우든가. 근데 눈앞에서 안 보이게 좀 치워놔도 좀 시끄러워서 글 쓸 수가 없어. 아니 작가님이 정원이 사슴이 뛰어놀면 좋겠다고 하셔서 저희가 어렵게 구했는데.
아니에요. 저 작가님을 도와주려고.
This is it. Nice. Like, what the fuck?